How's it going? Back here with another deck profile video for you. This one's kind of a combination of a few decks that I've put together already, and I kind of thought the strategy would be pretty fun. So here we go. First off, it plays 3 Blue Beetle. This card's really good. He's the only guy that lets you cheat out extra characters. Well, I guess him and Ras Al Ghul, but he cheats him out from the hand, and he gives 4 MP. It's just a really swingy card. I really like Blue Beetle. He helps set up some of the cool plays in the deck. He's good for getting characters out on the board fast and generating a lot of MP early. I really like him. Next, I play 3 Vixen. Vixen says, whenever you discard a card, draw 1 card. So this deck is kind of a hand-hate discard kind of a deck, and Vixen helps me play cards that make me discard cards for bigger advantage. Helps me draw through my deck. This deck draws lots of cards. It's pretty aggressive, and it's trying to hate out a lot of my opponent's cards. Vixen can be cheated out by Blue Beetle too, which is pretty nice. I play 2 Atoms. Atom gives 4 MP when he comes into play. He's only got 2 rank 1 stats. He says, at the end of your turn, return target character with a rank of 7 to its owner's hand. So in this deck, I play a few rank 7 guys with when enter effects. And Atom lets you get their powerful effect and then return them to your hand to play it again the next turn to get the effect again. In a pinch, Atom can also bounce their rank 7 guys back to their hand at the end of your turn, which is pretty nice for clearing the board. Usually you're going to be bouncing your own cards, though. He gives you 4 MP, and you can cheat him out with Blue Beetle. It's really nice. You play a fair amount of cards that he can attack and block with, too, so he can be a little chump blocker, almost. Or a little. For some of the cards you can bounce with the Atom, I play 2 ultra rare Batman. He says when he comes into play, look at the top 3 cards of a player's deck, put 1 in the discard pile, and put the other 2 back in any order. So usually you're going to use this to screw over your opponent. You're going to know their hand, make them discard cards, make sure they're not getting battle cards, make sure they're not getting characters, whatever they're locked out of. Batman's going to let you, every turn, make sure they're not going to be getting those cards. He's got really powerful stats, too, so if the Atom's not out there, you're comfortable having Batman on board. He's a 7/7. He can perform most of the cards in the deck. But that effect is really good. You want to bounce him to use that effect for sure. Next, I play 2 Darksied. Darksied says when he comes into play, your opponent discards a random card from their hand. This is one of the best cards to bounce with the Atom, because every turn, if your opponent's having to discard a random card from their hand, they're going to run out of steam really quickly, and they're just not going to be in control of what's going on. Pair this with some of the other cards in the deck, and your opponent has next to nothing in their hand, and you can keep it that way. If they have no cards in hand and you add those back to their hand, they're forced to draw a card and immediately play it, or have it discarded again by Darksied. So you can set your opponent in a really nasty lockdown with Darksied. I play 1 of Batman, the uncommon Batman. He says when he comes into play to push target character. So thanks to the Atom, I can kind of be a little bit of a chip damage deck with like a Blue Beetle or an Atom, because I can tap down somebody with Batman when he comes in, get my attack through, return Batman to my hand, and then the next turn do it again for another damage. He can help just get a last victory point, or I play him as a 1 of. He's got a pretty solid stat line as well. I play 1 Hawkgirl. Since it's kind of a hand-hate deck, I don't want people to be abusing their discard pile too much. I use a little bit of cards that mess with my discard pile, so I only play her at 1 of, because you want to try to set her up towards the middle or end of the game after you've done your recurring effects and your opponent is in the position where they need that to stay relevant because you've hated out so much. So just 1 of Hawkgirl for towards the end of games. Lastly, I play 1 Supergirl. A kind of cool thing with her is the deck's kind of light on events, so early on, if you haven't been able to discard a whole bunch of cards from your opponent's hand and you don't have any events, you can drop a Supergirl and look at your opponent's hand and make them get rid of a few events. Discarding events is really key because there's no way to get them back. So Supergirl is really handy. You don't want to be discarding your own events too much, but if you have to, Vixen can let you draw cards, and but really this is used for early swing plays to try to hay down your opponent's hand for having a lot of events if you pick up on that's what's going on right now. For battle cards here, I play 2 rank 1 specials. This card just says draw a card, it costs 0 MP. It's something the Atom can perform, and a lot of characters in the deck can perform it as well. I'm a big fan of this card. Next I play 3 Strength 1. Gives you 2 MP when you play it. It says draw a card, discard a card. With Vixen it just says basically draw 2 cards, discard a card. It's really great. Really something the Atom can also perform this. That's pretty handy. Having 5 attacks the Atom can perform is pretty good thing. Play 3 Intelligence 2. This Gorilla Grodd attack's really powerful. Draw 2 cards, then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. It gives you MP for performing it. Most of the characters can perform it in this deck, over half at least. Just lets you draw cards, find other attacks, find your removal stuff. Play 1 Intelligence 3. This card says search your discard pile for a card that's ranked 2 or less and put it in your hand. This is one of those cards that is shut down by your own Hawkgirl, but it's only a 1 of, so you use it before you have Hawkgirl, or you play around Hawkgirl, of course. It's pretty easy. It's just a really good card to help secure some early attacks, especially if you got a couple attacks through. It's still good to play. Only 1 of it and 1 of Hawkgirl, you're not hurting too much. Play 3 Special 4. This card says each player discards a card. This is really pivotal for the hand hate idea. Each player discards a card. You have Vixen out, so you draw a card back up, but your opponent doesn't. And theoretically, you played a Darksied again that turn, or for the first time perhaps. And Vixen's in play. Your opponent is now losing a lot of cards. If you have the perfect setup, you can lock your opponent out of card draw very, very quickly. Not necessarily card draw, but you can lock them out of being able to continue playing very quickly. Play 2 Intelligence 4. This card says search your deck for a rank 5 card and put it into your hand. Since you play Blue Beetle, you tend to fill the board quickly, so having attacks that find attacks or attacks that draw cards to find more attacks is really important. So not too many people can perform this, but enough to play 2 of it, and you play some good rank 5 cards, so it's nice to have a couple of those to be fine. This guy right here, the multi-rank 5, says you can discard a card from discard a battle card from your hand to draw 2 cards. So with Vixen out, you get to discard a battle card and draw 3 cards. You can tutor it, basically. You can find it from your deck with the rank 4 battle card. It's a solid attack. It's going to take down a lot of weenie guys just by itself. Most of the deck can perform it. Then you play 2 of the Intelligence rank 5s here. It says if it's used as an attack, shuffle a battle card from your discard pile into your deck. It's pretty handy to just reuse some of your discard cards when it's late in the game and you're just trying to hate them out, or you need to draw cards, or you need to put important combo pieces back in, or just add cards to your deck to live for another turn. This card's really good, and it's free. So, moving on to events. The events package is pretty light, but play 3 Echolocation. Plays right into that whole Darksied Special 4 hand hate idea. Look at their hand, pick out a card you don't want to deal with, figure out what they're lacking in, and then Batman to control it for the rest of the time with Darksied. Make sure they don't get any characters, don't get any battle cards. This deck, you want to play solitaire, basically. You want their hand gone. You play 2 Jokes on You. This is another card that can be interrupted by your own Hawkgirl, so use these early while you have hand advantage in the beginning. Just reuse some of the cards that got through for points early, and then when you play your Hawkgirl, have most of your discard pile stuff already used up. Again, it's only 1 of a Hawkgirl, and you play some discard stuff. So if you don't want her, if you need to use your discard pile that game, just don't play Hawkgirl. You play 2 of this card. It's really good. Put 2 battle cards from your discard pile into your hand, and then discard a random card. So with Vixen, after you discard, you get to draw another card. So it's quite powerful with Vixen. Lastly, I play 2 teleportation. This card's really going to be a tempo kind of a play. The Atom is going to want to do little chip damages as often as he can, so being able to, perhaps play Darkside, make him discard a random card, teleportation, the Darkside back to my hand to bounce one of their guys, then get the attack in with the Atom is going to be great if they left him up as a blocker. Normally the Atom would bounce Darkside, but bouncing anybody back with teleportation to get rid of their blocker is going to be a really important play, and I want to reuse my big bombs, so I'm cool with putting them back in my hand to get rid of their blocker to get in with a 1 damage attack. It's worth the same victory point. That's the deck. Let me know what you would change or what you like about it. Have a good one.